Hey Joey, I fly to see you in like 18 hours. Get on the plane in like 18 hours. I kind of thought of vlogging this experience, and then completely forgot about it. But today, Monday, I have a bunch of stuff on my to-do list to prepare because A, it seems like it's going to be colder than I originally anticipated, so I need to prepare for that. And then just kind of in general, like the last minute packing things, like making sure that all my toiletries are in my bag, making sure all my chargers are in my bag. I am currently getting all of the books that I'm gonna maybe want to read on the plane downloaded onto my Kindle, because I always forget about the downloading part of my Kindle, and I always then have to connect to my hotspot, which I can't do when I'm in the literal air. So I just downloaded a bunch of stuff. Let me see if I can make it tell me what stuff I have downloaded. Filter by downloaded? Downloaded. Okay. Things I have downloaded that I may decide to read on the plane. My Arc of Broken Harbor. This comes out in 2 weeks. I got it last week. I just received a physical ARC in the mail. My first ever. Love that for me. Literally screamed, cried, and whatnot. So that is on here. That will be almost for sure the first thing that I read on the plane, because I am so excited to read it. So there's that. And then Fireline by Maggie Gates. This is book 3 in the Griffith Brothers series. I read the first 2 earlier this year. I liked them. I want to read this one. The Striker by Anna Huang. You and I love us some Anna Huang. And you read it, and so I want to read it so that I can tell you about it. We'll see if that happens. The Happily Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. I just love Abby Jimenez. And I love to read her when I'm like on vacation. I don't know, that's when I read several of her books. So put that guy on there. That's The Archer's Voice, just because it was on there. Might want to read that. Phantasma, again, was just on there. Might want to read it. And then Wait for It by Mariana Zapata, because Heather just reread Wait for It. I haven't read Wait for It yet. Again, it was living on my Kindle, and I was like, why not download that one? So that's everything I've downloaded onto my Kindle that I may read whilst I am gone. Other things on my to-do list. That's literally it. It's literally just pack this camera, pack my chargers, pack some more pants. And I need to do an everything shower. I need to blow up my hair. Blow up my hair? Why did it sound like I said blow up? I need to blow out my hair. I should probably do some cleaning so that when I return, I'm not in chaos, but we'll see if that happens. Yeah. I'm gonna keep watching YouTube videos because I haven't watched any YouTube in like a week, and I have so much to catch up on, and I want to read on the plane and not watch YouTube on the plane. So, gotta watch the YouTube now. Just had lunch. Feeling good. We'll see if there's anything else I have to update you, otherwise maybe I'll see you tomorrow on the plane. As much as I am committed to the craft of the vlog, it's been a day and I am not pulling my camera out of my bag. So, you get the phone cam and the ceiling of an airport. I'm feeling very much John Green taking this here. I don't know how he does it. I am sitting at the gate for my flight to Tucson. My flight to Denver, where I am right now, a nightmare. I get to the airport at 4:30 in the morning. And just as I get through security, hey, your flight's delayed until 1 p.m. Okay. So I go home. I come back to the airport. I convince myself I'm gonna miss the flight, because the flight boarded at 12:25 and I didn't get there until like 11:50. So I convinced myself I was gonna miss the flight. Didn't miss the flight. Everything's fine. I get on the plane. My seatmate is a child. I think that children are gonna save the world. I I'm not good with children. So I sat next to a child for 2 hours. It was mostly fine. Put my AirPod in, listened to Noah Khan, because A, that's the only music I have downloaded on my phone, and B, it's my flight music. Listen to Noah Khan every plane I've ever been on, all 4 of them. So I did that. I finished Broken Harbor. Is that what that's called? Yeah. I finished Broken Harbor by Catherine Cowles. I got that arc. It was fantastic. Oh my god, I started it today while I was sitting on my couch waiting to return to the airport to actually get on my flight. But I finished that on the plane. It was beautiful. I did have to make sure that the kid wasn't looking at my Kindle. I didn't need him to learn new words. So there was that. But now I'm sitting here at my gate. I take off in I'm supposed to board in an hour. I am working on this star blanket, and I'm gonna listen to Lost and Lassoed, because Lyla Sage loves her an audiobook, it sounds like, based on the frequent viewing of her Instagram stories, and she is obsessed with this audiobook of her book, and I'd like to say that I've read it before I go and get my copy tomorrow at the event, you know? So that's my update. I'm just gonna sit here and listen to this audiobook and wait to get on another plane. And hopefully in the next clip, I'll be with you. Wouldn't that be grand? Let's hope nobody's sitting in the seat next to me. I did get to upgrade to premium economy because my flight was so delayed that they had to put me on a new flight, and the only seats available were in premium. So extra legroom for your girl at no upcharge. So I love that for me. But yeah. I'm genuinely terrible at vlogging. I did take some clips at the event last night, but I was there by myself and I was nervous. It was also 50 degrees. And listen, also someone is leaf blowing outside, I think. And I don't think you can hear it, but I can sure hear it, and it is distracting me. But so I got to the event. I'll maybe overlay the clips or something if I learn how to do that. But so I got to the event. It was very cute. Everybody was in their yeehaw cowboy outfits, but also sweaters because it was 50 degrees. And listen, born and raised in Iowa, I can deal with the cold, but I was not prepared for it to be cold. And so I did purchase this sweatshirt because the event was put on by Stack's Book Club, which is a bookstore down here. We got these cutie little bags because it was in partnership with the Oro Valley Historical Society. One thing about me, I love a historical society. So I love that we were supporting them. We could have taken little tours, but it was dark and I can't see in the dark, so I did not partake in a tour. I am currently reading The Striker. You and I have discussed this at length in person, but why is there a man on the Kindle cover of this book? I do not know. I'm like 50% of the way through it. I'm actively in the middle of a page because I stopped like as Lyla took the stage, and so I didn't want to keep reading, obviously. I was there for the event, that's what I was doing. And so I just stopped in the middle of the page and I haven't picked it back up because when I got home, you and I yapped and then we went to sleep and then I woke up and I'm watching John Green sign Tippins for his new book about tuberculosis, which I am so excited to come out. I've just muted it while I take this clip because you're going to be home relatively soon and I didn't want to make this in front of you because I thought that would be weird. Anyway, I got my book signed. Let me put you down and then maybe we can... Oh. Well, that's not it. Let me put you on this tissue box. That is also not it. What else do I have to put you on? What if I put you all the way over here? Can you even hear me from over there? Let me just sit on the floor. I'm just gonna sit on the floor. Ugh. Okay. Now you're on your Narnia collection. I'm also working on crocheting this blanket that I've been working on for a while. I worked on it at the airport. You saw that in the last clip. But I got my little book signed. Also, I am embarrassed that this still has the half-price book sticker on it. Because I didn't read the physical copy. I bought it after I read it on my Kindle because I read it on Kindle Unlimited before it got taken off Kindle Unlimited. And so I just, you know, but so got this little bad boy sign. It was freezing, her hands were freezing, but love. She is the sweetest. She's just like us, for real. No, okay. Love. I don't know why I'm showing you these signatures, like it's some sort of rocket science or something. But we also got this piece of art. Love that. I got this little bookmark that says, oh, come on. It says shop local, baby. It's got all these cute little flowers on it. And then on the back, it says shop local to support our community. When you shop local, every dollar makes a difference. Follow us to stay connected with local businesses. And it's the Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce, because they were also partnering with them for the event. It was a great time. I did chat a little bit with the nice lady behind me. I asked her what she was reading. She told me a book I had literally never heard of, but sounded kind of fun. And then I told her what I was reading, and she had no idea what I was talking about, so that was fun. But I'd say about 10 to 20 people had read the book already, which was cool because I had read it. I read it yesterday, obviously. Or I guess I read it yesterday and the day before. But now I've got them packed up in here. I already showed you this, but I guess I'm going to show you again. Cute. Oh god. This is a nice little bag. Cute little welcome to Oro Valley. What does it say? It's in our nature. How fun is that? That's about all I have to update you on. I think you and I are gonna go to Barnes & Noble later. Once John Green stops streaming, I'll stop crocheting and I will read some more of my book. This is the only other book I have acquired on this strip that you got for me because it was the only one I was missing of Bloodlines. I'm sitting here staring at your copies of Bloodlines, wanting to read The Golden Lily so bad, but I don't want to make that vlog while I don't want to have pieces of that vlog while I'm here, because that would be confusing for me. So yes, those are my updates about yesterday. yeah. Hey, I have no idea what clips I took. I know that I took some. I know that I didn't take many. It's now Sunday. Yesterday on Saturday. As you know, but the people don't know, I had the world's worst travel day. I don't know if it's worse than the got to the airport at 4 in the morning to immediately find out that my flight was now at 1, or because that was terrible. But in this case, my flight out of Tucson that was supposed to be at 5:30 got moved to 6:30, which meant that if I took that flight, I would have 10 minutes between getting off the plane in Denver and getting on my other plane in Denver. So then I took a 2:30 flight. At noon, I decided to take a 2:30 flight that ended up being 3:30 because it got delayed. Because they all got delayed. So I took a 2:30 that ended up being 3:30 flight from Tucson to Denver, and then was in the Denver airport from 5:30 till what was supposed to be 8:30, but then was 9:15. And then when they moved the flight back 30 minutes, which then it took us even longer to get off, like actually in the air, which is why it was 9:15, but it was supposed to be like 9:10. When they pushed the flight back 30 minutes, because our flight crew hadn't come to the airport yet, because they were on a different plane, when they pushed it back, instead of being a 2-hour and 10-minute flight, it was an hour and a half flight. I don't know how that works, because I am not a pilot. But then the flight crew gets there, we board, takes forever to take off. Then it said we were supposed to get here, local time 11:30. So my watch in the air was still set to Denver time. So I'm looking at my watch and it's 10:23. We haven't even sort of started talking about landing. And then it's 10:45, which is 11:45 local time, which is when we were supposed to land before it got pushed back. So I'm like, that would be a great time for us to land. Still nothing. We don't end up landing until midnight, which is when, like, United said we landed. That is not when we landed. We landed at 12:15. So Marshall got to the airport to pick me up at 11:15 because I was supposed to get there at 11:30. Then I got there at 12:15. Came home, ate taquitos, went to bed. So I thought I would go over with you the books that I purchased and the books that I read. Because I know that I don't think I talked about my books at all, actually, the things that I was reading. And I know there are clips of the books that we purchased. But anyway, we'll just go over them. So while I was waiting for my plane, like when I was at home after the 4:30 move to 1 o'clock debacle, I read almost all of, and then finished at the airport, Broken Harbor by Catherine Cowles. I got the arc of this. Let me get it. I actually have some of these, so let me grab them 1 second. So this is my arc of Broken Harbor. I guess that's in focus. This is the first physical arc I have received, so shout out to Catherine Cowles and her team, because I did cry when I received it. Nobody's surprised about that. But so I read that, and then I have these in a terrible order here, but my paperbacks got a little bit smooshed while I was on the plane, which is all on me. I should have packed them better, but then I listened to Lost and Lassoed because that was the whole reason I was there. It came out on the Tuesday of which I was flying, and so I got the audiobook I listened to it on Spotify. I had to buy extra time on Spotify to finish it because I had already used some of my Spotify hours. Worth it 100%. The audiobook of that is so good. This book is so good. Everybody should read it. Everybody should read the whole Rebel Blue Ranch series. I'm obsessed with it. So I listened to that. Both of those books were 5 stars. I love everything Catherine Cowles writes. Specifically this series, though. Every single one of them is perfect. Yeah. Lost and Lassoed. Also love every book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I love Meadowlark. I love all of these characters. I love all of it. I'm so sorry about the window. I'm gonna sit up so that it is not so, I'm not so washed out. Anyway, so listen to that. Then on my Kindle, I read The Striker. This is a solid 4-star for me. I liked it. I think that in the middle of some of the recent Anna Huang books, there's some stuff that I don't care about. Like, I guess, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. They were too happy for too long before the, like, sort of conflict. And I love when a conflict, like, we all, like, get peeved about a third act breakup. I don't really care. I like that there's a conflict because if they're too happy for too long, I am confused. And I'm just sitting there waiting for the shoe to drop. But, like, so I like that there is a conflict. But there was a chunk of this where they were happy for too long. And they kept talking about the thing that was going to cause the conflict. And it, like, I guess it was kind of a red herring because I guess that wasn't the conflict. There was a different conflict, but that also was, like, kind of clear, but I didn't know how it was going to come up, and it just, yeah. But I still liked it. I like all of Anna Huang's books. I'm gonna read The Defender. I'm gonna read King of Envy. I'm actually, like, foaming at the mouth for King of Envy. I don't know why, because I wasn't, like, keyed up to read the rest, like, the other books in Kings of Sin. I liked King of Wrath okay. I then read King of Pride and King of Greed, like, back to back after, or, like, right before King of Sloth was gonna come out. Like, I didn't pick them up when they came out. And then I read, but King of Sloth was so good. And, like, just the King of Envy is, like, giving Twisted more than it's giving some of the other Kings of Sin books, and I'm just so excited. So, yeah, all that to say, I read The Striker. I gave it 4 stars. I then read Sunshine by Michaela Jean Taylor. I had a bunch of stuff on my Kindle. And so, because, like, I purchased some books while I was in Arizona, but mostly, like, of the books that I acquired in Arizona, 3 or 4 of them I had already read. So, I was shopping my Kindle library. I had downloaded, or, like, added Sunshine to my Kindle library months and months ago. And so I didn't remember what it was about. So you and I are sitting, I'm sitting on your couch, you're sitting in the chair, and I pull it up and I read the description to you. And we both decide that that's the thing that I need to read. This is almost childhood friends to lovers, which I love. But, like, there's a twist. There's a tragedy. So I don't know how to explain. I'm just gonna read the actual description to you because I don't want to spoil anything because for everybody watching at home who isn't Joey, for the first, like, 30% of this book that I read in her apartment while I was, like, waiting to go to the airport, I was basically dictating every other page to her because this book was kind of crazy in a good way, but, like, I had so much to say. So here's the official description via Goodreads. Friday Night Lights meets Yellowstone in this scorching new romance series about a fictional small town in East Texas and a lawless family of ranchers who are hell-bent on pushing back against the people who fear them. Lyla Hayes never wanted love. With eyes full of stars, she always dreamt of leaving Saddlebrook Falls in the dust, determined to escape her small town and the traditional future her mother has planned for her. But then she falls for her town's golden boy, the older, gorgeous starting quarterback, Jason Moore, and her dreams of living life for herself begin to disappear like smoke. Still, despite planning her forever with Jason, she's intent on chasing her own dreams and heads to NYU for college. When a devastating loss forces her to return to her hometown, Lyla must reconsider everything she thought she knew about herself. It doesn't take long for her to realize that the future she craves may have been right in front of her all along. Now listen. Was this a Pulitzer Prize award-winning worthy book? No. Was it so good and I was like giggling and like screaming? Yes. Because the stuff that happens in this book is crazy, but I was eating it up. So I think if you're looking for a small town romance that has a little bit more like oomph to it, that one was good. It's a 4-star, a solid 4-star. I actually think it's not a solid 4-star. I think I put it on Storygraph as a 3.75, but I'm like between those. It's a 4 on Goodreads at the very least, with their solid stars only. And then the last thing that I like read, I haven't finished yet, but I started All the Little Raindrops by Mia Sheridan. This is another thing that I had like in my library, but it was on my Kindle library and my Audible library because it's one of those like Kindle books, like Kindle Unlimited books that comes with the Audible audio. And for some reason, it was downloaded into my Audible. I don't recall downloading it purposefully, but what happened was I was on the plane from Tucson to Denver, and I was gonna listen to a different audiobook on Spotify, but I hadn't downloaded it because I was panic running to the airport because I changed my flight to 4 hours earlier than it was supposed to be. So I hadn't downloaded it, so then I was like, well, I really want to listen to something. I don't want to read with my eyes. And so I opened the Audible app, and the only thing I had downloaded was All the Little Raindrops. And I was interested in this book because I'd call it suspenseful romance as opposed to romantic suspense. All of these things are made up, but that's how I would describe it. Because a lot more that's going on is the suspense part, I feel like, than the romance at this point. I'm like 50% of the way through it. I was gonna keep listening to it on my flight from Denver to home. However, it's kind of heavy. And I was so tired because it was 9 p.m., which was 10 p.m. home time. So I was going through it. I had to stop. So this one is another one that I'm going to read the official description of because if this stuff isn't spoilery, then like, you know what I mean? So, All the Little Raindrops. The chilling story of the abduction of 2 teenagers, their escape, and the dark secrets that years later bring them back to the scene of the crime. It's senior year spring break, and Nicole Meyer and Evan Sinclair have been kidnapped. Neither knows why they were chosen, only that they share a tragic past. Evan's father got away with killing Noelle's mother, effectively ruining her family when the death was ruled an accident. Despite the connection that should have made them enemies, the teens instead unite to face their other common denominator, their abductors. Noelle and Evan survive one sadistic circumstance after another, eventually making a harrowing escape. But every happy ending comes at a price. Years later, Evan, now a private investigator, revisits the crime when he learns it may be ongoing. He reaches out to Noelle for help, and they discover that the answers lie with a man known only as the Collector. To close their case and solve the ones that followed, Noelle and Evan must unmask this mysterious spectator, the only man who knows enough secrets to take their captors down. As it turns out, there was a book I was supposed to read first. There's like a note down here that says, while All the Little Raindrops is a complete standalone, it is set in Reno just as Bad Mother was. And there are a few general references to the case from that story. For that reason, I'd suggest reading Bad Mother first to plant yourself firmly in that world. I didn't do that because I don't know what that is. But I read Unwanted by Mia Sheridan, which was a romantic suspense that I liked, but part of it was kind of weird. And I find that like I wouldn't want to be in Mia Sheridan's head. I don't know what's going on in there. Because this stuff is scary. there are not trigger warnings at the beginning of the audiobook at the very least. I don't know if there were in the Kindle because I didn't start reading it on my Kindle until like the 30% mark, but there should be trigger warnings if there are not. I always hear people say search up your trigger warnings. I don't know if they just exist on the internet somewhere, but please take caution before you read this because, like I said, it is quite heavy. But I'm liking it so far. It is kind of all over the place because I thought the whole story was going to be like the kidnapped to escape thing, but obviously, as mentioned, like that is not the case. That happens, and then like later as adults they deal with it because they were 18 when they were kidnapped. So that's great. Okay, it's been a couple hours because my camera died like in the middle of my sentence, but I had previously finished telling you the books I read while I was in Arizona, so now I'm gonna real quick show you the books that I acquired in Arizona, and then sometime in the next 2 days I will edit together the amalgamation of various footages I took between the camera and my phone and these right now, and then you'll be watching the vlog that is happening in. So, in no particular order, the things I acquired. This copy of Little Women. I'd been looking for a copy of Little Women that was not $20 to $30, and also wasn't ugly. This is the one I acquired. I'm in the middle of Little Women, and so I wanted to own a copy of it because I don't own copies of any classics because I'm not a big classics girly. But I recently acquired a copy of Pride and Prejudice for like $1. And the thing about classics is that I understand that they are classics for a reason, but because of that, I find it hard to pay a large sum of money for them. So yeah, and because I'm listening to them, at least so far, like I listened to Pride and Prejudice, and I am listening to Little Women, and so like I don't need to own it in order to read it, and so I was like, I don't want to spend $30 on this copy of a book that's been out for like a century. Not with this one, but anyway, I bought it though. Next up, Assassin's Blade. The old cover. I got this at a used bookstore because I have, can you see it back there? This chair's in the way. But back there, past all the stuff, is my copies of Throne of Glass with these covers. Because I started reading this series like in 2015 when it came out, but I didn't own this one because I stopped reading after Empire of Storms. Before Empire of Storms? I stopped reading before Empire of Storms when I was reading it originally, and I don't know when this was published in the order, but when it was published we weren't reading it, we being the broad teenage community. And so I didn't read it when it first came out, and so I didn't own it. And then they got republished with the new covers, which, don't get me wrong, I have those too. They're back there. That's how I read it when I did my reread last year. But I wanted this cover, but I needed it in a paperback so that it could sit on top. I'm pro reading Assassin's Blade not first. I think we read it after Crown of Midnight, before Heir of Fire, but it might be after Heir of Fire. But I feel like since it is like number 0.5, I want it to go on top, and my copies of Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight in this edition are paperback, and so I got this. It was $11, which is much better than trying to get it on Pengo, in which case it would be like at least $20 after shipping and everything, so glad I picked that up. This next one is some foreshadowing for a video I'm gonna make. I want to make a video that is reading my favorite booktubers' favorite books, and this is one of them. Now, I am terrified of this book, because I think there's a lot about it I will not like, but I also think that I love reading stuff that's kind of bad, but bad in a good way, and I watched Larry Reed's all 3 parts of her Zodiac reading. Was it 4 parts? I don't even know. I watched all of them. And then when she posted the non-spoiler version, I watched the whole like 2-hour video of that too. But I feel like this will be easier for me to read because I kind of know what is happening. because I already watched the spoiler vlog, because I think if I was like anxiety riddled throughout all of these, I wouldn't be able to do it. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So this is gonna be a part of that as one of Larry's favorites in that video. And they're getting republished, and the new cover of this I don't like. And so again, I got it at a used bookstore because I want these covers. So I need to read it soon so I can find out if I need to like buy more of them. But I'm not gonna buy the whole series right now. I can't do that. There are literally like 12 of them, and they're all on Kindle Unlimited, but I wanted this one for the symbol of it. This I didn't buy, but I acquired and came home with the copy of Silver Shadows that you picked up for me so that I can finish Bloodlines, because I'm gonna start reading Golden Lily here pretty soon, and then I'll be chugging along with that. And then the last book that I acquired on that trip was my copy of Lost and Lassoed for the event. It came with this cutie little bookmark. I think I already showed this to you. I'm like having a sense of deja vu. And this art card. My copy is a little wonked because it got kind of squished in my suitcase. So it's hiding under a stack of things over here to get unsquished. And yeah, those are the books I acquired while I was gone. And the books that I read, and all of the things we did, which wasn't a lot. That's my favorite type of vacation. So thank you for coming along on this vlog with me that you were a large part of, and thank you to everybody who's not Joey for watching the vlog and seeing what I got up to. Enjoy. Have a good day.